Today on Hands On Photography, I want to talk about that very, very awkward moment between you and your photography and your photography viewers. You know, sometimes you put that shot out there and you love that shot, but your viewers, they can take it or leave it. Let's talk about that. Stay tuned.
This is TWiT.
Well, hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm Pruitt, and this is Hands On Photography here on TWiT TV. Hope y'all are doing well. I am unbelievable as always. This is the podcast where I like to sit down and share different tips and tricks that are going to help make you a better photographer as well as a better post-processor. And if this is the type of content you're looking for, go ahead and subscribe right now in whatever podcast application you're enjoying this on. Or you can check out our website, twit.tv/hop. That's twit.tv/HOP to see all of our subscription options right there on the webpage. And you'll also see all of our previous episodes and previous show notes because, all of those previous episodes got a lot of information out there that you just may find useful as you go down this road of photography and continue your quest to be better in this field. All right. I appreciate you all checking it out and I appreciate you joining me today, but let's go ahead and get started with this week's episode. Okay, so I always ask that you send in some different feedback to me, whether it's image critiques or questions, comments, or, just to say how much you love the show. I appreciate that. But I got some email this week from somebody I know by his name is Mr. Joe Hawk. And his email was quite interesting and he gave me consent to share this on the air. So let's go ahead and pull that message up and get right on into it. All right. The message says, Ant, hope you're doing well. Watched your show this evening with Rick Salmon. I think that's the first time I've ever seen you giddy like a schoolgirl. Come on, man. Do that more. It was fun. Anyway, I was hoping you could do another critique for me. Don't be afraid to take the gloves off on this one. I personally love this one, but no one else seems very interested in it. It continues. So I'm wondering what I'm missing that people just aren't interested. Is it the composition, coloring, or is it really just me being the only one excited about this simple boat in front of an iconic coastal town? This photo is a couple years old now, but still one of my favorites. As you can tell, I took this from a moving boat, pitching and whatnot. It was early morning in Positano, Italy. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. The message continues. I love the layers in this image, the rolling fog breaking on the cliffs, the layers of the village, the gorgeous blue water in this boat, which is really a symbol of how life happens in Positano. Their lifeblood is the sea. Does it tell the story in a compelling way, or is it just me trying to, quote, will it so? Thanks again, my friend, Joseph. And that's Joe Hawk Photography. His website is joehawkphotography.picfair.com. So my man, Mr. Joe, thank you for sending that over, and thank you for allowing me to share this with our listeners here on Hands On Photography, listeners and viewers, because I think this is, it brings up a valid point that photographers face, especially in the beginning of their photographic journey. And it's just the whole idea of, I love this photo, but nobody else does. And the thing is, before I pull up your image, the thing is, all of that is totally fine. Folks, let me tell you, don't be discouraged with your photography when you post it out online and people don't necessarily give you the reaction that you would hope for. Because again, this is art. This is art that you're creating with your own vision, and you're not going to see things the same way the viewers will see things. Now, granted, this show, I do try to share tips to help bring people in and draw people in to see your vision and your creativity, but sometimes it's just not going to be there. The same way that people appreciate, say, cars or what have you. You can have someone bring out the latest model Ferrari, put it right in front of them, and they'll say, wow, this is a really great car. But then if you pull out a Ferrari from, I don't know, maybe 30 years ago, they will react totally differently to that car, even though that car may have much higher value. So everybody's not going to see things eye to eye, especially when you're talking about art. It is what it is. The most important thing to consider with this is just, you're the photographer, you're the artist, just keep creating, keep doing it. Hopefully you're doing it for you first and foremost. So if you're happy with it, that's the best start ever. And you're probably going to be just fine going forward, whether other people like it or not, because you're doing it just because you enjoy doing it and you're happy doing it and you love what you created. So don't be discouraged. Just keep shooting. All right. Okay, so let's go ahead and pause for a second and open up Lightroom so we can take a look at Mr. Hawk's photograph. Okay, so we are now inside of Lightroom, and this is Mr. Hawk's photograph. And as he mentioned in his email, he loves it, but he can't necessarily get that same vibe or response from other people viewing this image. And Joe, I'll go ahead and tell you straight up. It's a nice shot, but I don't particularly love it either. Why? Well, as I look at this image, my eyes are just sort of really bouncing around kind of thing. So I sort of feel distracted, The crazy thing is when I opened this image up, the first thing that I noticed was right here. This is the mast or whatever that's called on a boat. I'm not a nautical person, so I don't know all the technical stuff, but this is the first thing that I spotted when I opened up the image, and it just sort of put me off right out the gate. It is what it is. And then I decided, okay, all right, have a more of an open mind about this and take a look at this image some more. So as I looked around, yes, it is beautiful the way the clouds and mist is captured right above this mountain ridge, and it's very nice with the color and the detail. I don't necessarily have to pixel peep too much, but this thing has a lot of details in the background there that warrants to be discussed. This is really, really, really good stuff, bro. But at the same time, just as an overall image, it was just sort of I get it. It's okay. I think the problem is when you're shooting this is something that could be considered like a landscape photograph. Okay. Even though you're out on the water and you're shooting back over the water. And so I guess you can say seascape or what have you. But when you're dealing with these types of images, I think what really helps with from a viewer standpoint is to make sure you have a nice foreground, make sure you have a nice middle ground, and make sure you have a nice defined background. Have those particular layers there. You talked about the layers of seeing the homes back there on the mountain ridge and so forth. But from this perspective, it still sort of blends right in as to just being one particular wall there. There's no real depth when I look at this image here. The first thing that I would have done is I would have gone out a little bit wider on this shot. Still keep every element that you have there, but I would have gone a little bit wider on this shot to sort of give us more depth and give us more of those layers of the foreground, middle, and the background. And I think that would have worked out a little bit better for you. Or maybe change the way it is cropped. Because again, the first thing that I saw was this mask right here in the middle of the screen. I don't know why that grabbed me. Probably because it's right there in the center. If that was cropped a little bit differently, maybe that would have worked. Not sure, but yeah, those are my 2 cents on it. But Mr. Hawk did shoot me an email again with an update because he asked some other folks to look at this image as well, and he got some feedback, and he let me know, people were explaining to me the stuff that they didn't necessarily vibe with, and they thought there was a lot of distractions in it or things that were sort of competing against each other from an element standpoint inside of the image. And all that makes total sense. So he sent me another version of this shot. So let's take a look at that one too. So we'll switch back to Lightroom here. Now, this is the updated version of this shot. And right out the gate, this is way better for me. Way better, because I don't feel a bit of visual tension right at the center of the screen the way that I felt on the first version of this. So yeah, this is a whole different perspective. The boat has moved over. It's not necessarily front and center. it gives just a little bit more depth, not a ton more, but it does make this so much better. Still, I would try to make this shot wider if it were me, just to give it a few more layers. Or if anything, lose the boat. I know the boat tells a story to you, but I don't know if it's necessary in this. If it was necessary, I would have the boat be a little bit smaller in the frame, a la making it a little bit wider. But that is me. But again, at the same time, this updated version of this, I believe this is much better than this one. This is the first version, and this is the second version. I think that's much better. Much, much, much better. But yeah, those are my thoughts on that. So folks, what are your thoughts? Have you been in this situation where you're looking at some images and it just don't quite strike you? Yeah, I'm sure you have. For me, I call them selfies. I hate scrolling through Instagram. I hate it scrolling through Instagram and seeing selfies in my feed. Those things do not do anything for me. But then there's other times there's some images that people will create and they're quite proud of them. And sometimes I just don't quite see what they see, but I appreciate the fact that they're happy in the art that they created, and I just roll with it on that standpoint. But if they ask me my thoughts, yeah, I'll tell them my thoughts, but I don't just offer it right out the gate because, again, it's art and I'm not going to see things the way they see it and they're not going to see things the way I see it because I know people are saying the exact same stuff about some of the things that I post, and it is quite all right. Let me know your thoughts, folks. Shoot me a message. You can just email the show, hop@twit.tv. Again, it's hop@twit.tv, or you can just give me a tag on any of those social media platforms, and particularly Twitter and Instagram. On Twitter, I am ant_Pruitt. On Instagram, I am ant_Pruitt as well. All right. Let me know your thoughts. Shout out to you, Mr. Joe. Thank you again for sending it over. And thanks for sending a follow-up image as well, because I believe this can be quite helpful for other folks here in the hands-on photography community. All right. Thank you all so much for the continued support. Thank you to you, Mr. Victor, for making me look and sound good every week, my man. Really do appreciate you. Now, folks, you all safely create and dominate, and I will catch y'all next time. Take care.
No ads, just the content. That's what you get when you join Club Twit. You even get extras like Twit Plus, our new bonus feed just for members, and exclusive access to the Club Twit Discord community. Join now for just $7 a month and support Twit as we continue to create top-notch podcasts you expect and deserve. We're just getting started, so be one of the first to join as we build Club Twit from the ground up. You could be an early member. Go to twit.tv/clubtwit to learn more and sign up now. Thanks.